They say the cover-up is worse than the crime, but in Andrew Cuomo's case, they're equally bad. The New York governor now facing calls for impeachment. Secretary to the governor, Melissa DeRosa, secretly told Democrats that Cuomo hid the nursing home deaths because the feds were investigating them. They froze, quote unquote, because they were worried information, quote, would be used against them. Nearly 9,000 recovering COVID-19 patients were sent to nursing homes in New York, directed by Cuomo, and 15,000 facility residents died from the virus in that state. That's up 40% from the 8,900 initially reported. Remember, he could have used the USS Comfort, but refused because probably didn't want to give Trump any credit. Here now to react, Congressman Steve Scalise. So the feds were looking into him because he directed these sick patients to go into these nursing homes. And then he looks down the barrel of that gun and says, no, we got to hide this. And according to our research, Congressman, you're looking at obstructing government administration in the second degree. He could be looking at conspiracy. Misdemeanors, still official misconduct. But I think things are starting to tighten up there in New York on the governor.
Yeah, Jesse, this report from the New York Post is just a devastating bombshell. And frankly, the saddest part of it is that thousands of people died who shouldn't have died from COVID. Going back to March, when Governor Cuomo gave that deadly order mandating that COVID-positive patients from hospitals be sent back into nursing homes, even if the nursing home couldn't take care of them. That, by the way, went against federal CMS guidance that said not to do that. And so, Cuomo continued to try to hide this. I'm on a select subcommittee. We've been asking Governor Cuomo to give the data to us, to show us and be transparent with the facts going back to June. And he's very smugly said, we don't have to show it to you. Now you have his top aide thinking that she's only talking to a couple of Democrat senators in New York, saying, hey, we didn't give the data because we were afraid it might be used against us in an investigation. That's the very definition of obstruction of justice. But the worst part, Jesse, is there's thousands of families that are begging and pleading to get these answers. And Governor Cuomo has just looked the other way and scoffed at them and then called any of us who have demanded these answers every kind of name under the sun because he's trying to cover up for his own failures. Just be honest with these families. Janice Dean on Fox has been very vocal about this, trying to get the facts out. Yeah. So many other families that I've heard from in New York that just want to know the answer. They lost a loved one. They weren't even able to go and hug their loved one in the final days when they were dying from COVID, who should have never died because they should have never been forced back into those nursing homes by Governor Cuomo.
And the Biden Justice Department has now dropped this, I guess, federal investigation into these nursing home deaths. I guess he waited out the clock until Joe got in there, and then they dropped it. But this is akin, I guess, to me. Remember the Katrina nursing home scandal? A lot of people died in those nursing homes, and people were charged with a whole host of felonies for that. Or, even a general in war, Congressman, if you go in and make a bad call and then you move body counts around to make your strategy look better when people are trying to, issue subpoenas about what the heck happened, that's almost as bad as it gets. So I hope at least the New York State prosecutors look into this, and he's held accountable by the state Senate and the state legislature in the state of New York, because as you said, this really isn't about anything else except getting answers for families. So we'll see how it plays out.
And you said at the beginning that the cover-up is 20 seconds. Scandal. We've got to get to the bottom of this. We're not going to stop demanding answers. But look, the clock does not stop ticking because there were murders and deaths involved that should have never happened. And maybe tens over 10,000, definitely in the thousands. Governor Cuomo ought to just be transparent. And if he can't be transparent, he shouldn't be in that position.
Yeah, he's least, not even as transparent as the Chinese communist regime on COVID. That's the level we're talking about here. All right, Congressman Scalise, thank you very much for coming on Water's World.